July 2024, American Fork, Utah. A husband drives from California, heart full of hope for reconciliation with his wife and children. She lures him to her mother's home, promises the doors unlocked, a fresh start. But inside waits tragedy. A family plot unfolds with betrayal and a fatal shot. The wife, now facing murder and conspiracy charges, pleads guilty. But in Provo's 4th District Court, the victim's brother unleashes fury. Will her remorse sway the judge, or will justice demand a lifetime price? This is Kathryn Restelli's story, a marital trap that shattered lives. Stay tuned for a ruling that echoes pain. Kathryn and Matthew Restelli's marriage fractures. Arguments, separation. She flees to Utah with their 3 children, staying with her mother, Tracy Grist, in American Fork. Matthew, 42, a devoted father from California, demands the kids return. Kathryn dangles hope. Let's reconcile. I'll pack, doors unlocked, come right in. July 12, 2024, Matthew arrives. Inside, her brother, Kevin Ellis, ambushes him. Single shot to the chest. Kathryn hides upstairs. Family claims self-defense, but investigators unravel it. A knife planted in Matthew's hand post-mortem, staged. Phone records, AirTag tracking from California. Kathryn monitored his drive. Arrests follow. Kathryn charged with murder, 2nd-degree felony, conspiracy to commit murder, 2nd degree, felony discharge of a firearm, 1st degree. Tracy and Kevin face 1st-degree murder, obstruction, domestic violence. June 2025, Kathryn pleads guilty to reduced counts, others dismissed for cooperation. Sentencing, September 9, 2025, before Judge Roger Griffin. The chamber awaits. Victim's family, her remorse. September 9th, 2025, Provo's 4th District Court. Victim impact statements pierce the air. Matthew's brother confronts Kathryn's deception. Her response follows. Listen to the raw exchange.
My brother's murder did not just take his life, it shattered our entire family. These words carry the weight of that loss and the truth of what Matt's children, my family, and I now live with every day. My name is Jonathan Mark Restelli. I go by Mark. I am the youngest of 3 brothers, known growing up as the Restelli boys. Paul is the oldest and our leader. Matt is the middle brother, and he is the victim in this brutal murder. Matt was executed by the very people who were supposed to be his family. His wife, Kathryn, his mother-in-law, Tracy Grist, and his brother-in-law, Kevin Ellis. They planned his murder and carried it out. They shot Matt in the back and planted a knife in his hand while his children slept directly above the place where he took his final breath. Before I go any further, I'm going to address Kathryn directly. From the moment you crawled into my brother's life, you were determined.
Excuse me, sorry. Move it up.
So we're having troubles with the recording, Mr. Restelli.
Okay.
Sorry.
From the moment you crawled into my brother's life, you were determined to marry Matt, become a Restelli, and start making babies. You were obsessed over it. You clawed at it. And eventually you got what you wanted. You had everything. But Kathryn can't have nice things because she breaks them like a toddler. And then you went and did it. You murdered the man that gave you everything you dreamed about. The man that gave you a family, your children, and our name, Restelli, the name you obsessed over. You are no Restelli, and you never were. It makes me sick to think that name is associated with you in any way. You are and always will be Kathryn Ellis, a mere image of your twisted mother, Tracy, a fraud, a black widow who devoured the man who defended you more than anyone else ever did. From day one, the red flags were there. What started that day was over a decade of psychotic behavior and abuse, a pattern of behavior and conflict that continues to this day, a black widow's pattern. Kathryn first introduced herself to me in a Facebook message. Before I had even opened it, she had sent a second message saying that she and Matt had broken up and she was blocking me. We haven't even spoken. I have no idea who she is, but I was blocked. That's Kathryn, erratic, childish, like a teenager stuck in an adult's body. The pattern begins. In the coming years at family events, we walked on eggshells, waiting for the explosion. Would she blow up over nothing or pass out drunk before dinner? It happened every time. It was inevitable. The pattern continues. The last time I saw Kathryn before murdering Matt was at my mother's wedding reception in March of 2022. It was supposed to be a day of fun and celebration, but not with Kathryn around. Multiple conflicts sprung up, and in front of all the guests, Kathryn screamed at Matt's oldest son, "You're not my son! You didn't come from my loins! I didn't spread my legs and birth you!" Filthy, venomous trash from a filthy spider's mouth. The pattern continues. I refused to stand as a groomsman at Kathryn and Matt's wedding because I couldn't, in good conscience, support his marriage to her, because even then, I saw right through her. 8 legs, an hourglass, fangs, and dead eyes. She was transparent to me. At that same wedding, I met Kathryn's mother, Tracy, for the first time. Before even introducing herself, her first words she ever spoke to me were, "You know Katie's not a bad person." Looking back, that's laughable, because we all know the truth. She's not a bad person. She's the worst kind of person. She's a murderer, and so are you, Tracy and Kevin, an evil family of spiders. And when Matt was lured to Utah so Kevin could shoot him in the back, it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't random. It was inevitable. It was Kathryn, Tracy, and Kevin, a Black Widow's execution plan. It was just a normal day in the life of the Ellis family. It is their nature.
I'm so very deeply sorry for the pain that I've caused. I understand that my apology will never be enough to heal the hurt that Matt's death has caused and continues to cause. He didn't deserve it. If I had the power to bring him back, I would. I know that my actions directly caused Matt's death. And for my part, I realized the devastation I caused. I didn't think about the pain it would cause. My heart breaks for his children, his family, his friends, and his community. At this point, the least I could do is speak the truth on what happened to give Matt and his family the justice they deserve.
That's it, Judge.
Anything else from the state? That should be one.
The brothers' words cut deep, exposing years of turmoil and the family's shattered trust. Kathryn's apology follows, but the court weighs its sincerity against the premeditation. The judge has the plea, victim statements, and Utah law in hand. What's the outcome? The judge reviews the plea, victim statements, and Utah's indeterminate system. The parole board decides the exact term. Here's the ruling.
The court cannot add to what was said by Mr. Restelli's family members today to describe the type of person that he clearly was. As time passes, I hope that his family will be able to only recall the good memories that you have of him, and that you'll be able to put behind you the tragic events of July of 2024. I'm sure that will take time, but I hope that can occur. Ms. Restelli, what struck me in the numerous statements in your letters of support that I received was that you quote-unquote loved your children. That's simply not true. Your selfish actions show that you didn't love your children at all. You made them victims. And let me be clear, your children are victims of your actions. They'll be lifetime victims of your actions, and they deserve to grow up without you in their lives. Your actions the day after the events of July show how callous and uncaring you were towards your children and what you did to their father. You tell me in your statement of advance of plea or your pre-sentence report that you wanted to back out of the plan to kill your husband. Yeah, hours after their father was killed, you were preparing for a date, according to a friend of yours from Discord. And you were showing off the scene of a crime to those friends like it was a trophy. When you received condolences from a friend of yours from Discord, you said, quote, "It's okay, I'm happy." I simply do not find it all credible your claim that you wanted to back out of the plan to kill your husband after 5 p.m. on the events of July 2024. As Mr. Brown pointed out, the record is clear and unambiguous. You still had ongoing telephonic communications with your husband before the events that led to his death that night. But more importantly, you had more than just hours to do something about that. You had days to stop your family's plan to kill your husband. But you elected not to do anything. It's clear to the court that your statements and actions or lack thereof in July 2024 was not of somebody who wanted to back out of the plan that you've admitted to in your statement in advance of plea, but of somebody who was willing to go forward with it and was happy that the event and the plan was successful. I think it's also important to remind you, as the state pointed out, that you had also entered into a plea deal regarding domestic violence, physical domestic violence against Matt. And there's no record that he ever committed any domestic violence against you. Indeed, it struck the court in our preliminary hearings that you repeatedly told the divorce attorney in the state of Utah that he never physically abused you. So you're not a victim, you're the perpetrator of incredible harm of domestic violence to your children and, of course, to your husband. With those brief facts in mind, I'm going to proceed forward sentencing. I'm going to order restitution. There's a stipulation to $2,500 at this time. Further restitution is to remain open as allowed by statute. It's required by state law. I'm going to order a $53 court security fee for each count. Fines and fees will be sent to the Office of State Debt Collection. I will waive the fine in this matter. Any assets that you have should go to your children for their support and the restitution for them. I am going to enter a continuous protective order. That means you can have no contact with your children directly or indirectly. And if you violate that, new felony charges can be brought against you. And by statute, the presumption is that they would run consecutive to your current sentence. As allowed by statute and as required, I will give you credit for time served, which the parties believe is 316 days at this time. I do note that both the state and your attorney have discussed that your offer is based upon your willingness to cooperate with law enforcement. That was reflected in the plea deal that was offered you, which included the stipulated sentence. That doesn't, however, change what you did and how you did it, or what you did during July of 2024 to your husband. For the family, I do need to point out that we have an indeterminate sentencing system in the state of Utah. I impose a range, and the Utah State Parole Board will ultimately decide how much time Ms. Restelli will serve in prison. As to count 1, murder, a second-degree felony, I impose a statutory maximum of 1 to 15 years in the Utah State Prison. As to count 2, conspiracy to commit murder, domestic violence, also a second-degree felony, I impose a statutory maximum allowed by state law of 1 to 15 years in the Utah State Prison. As to count 3, felony discharge of a firearm, domestic violence, a first-degree felony, I impose the statutory maximum, according to state law, of 5 years to life in prison. Counts 1 and 3 will run consecutive to each other. By stipulation, count 2 will run concurrent. Do note, Ms. Restelli, you have 30 days to appeal the sentence. On an appeal, if you qualify and request the same, an attorney will be appointed to represent you. Any questions from the state?
No, thank you.
Any questions from the defense?
None.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This court will be in recess.
All rise.
Maximum terms 1 to 15 years for murder and conspiracy, concurrent, 5 years to life for firearm discharge, consecutive to murder, totaling 6 years to life. $2,500 restitution, open, $53 security fees per count, fines waived, assets to children. Continuous no contact with her children, violation risks new felonies, consecutive to current term. Credit for 316 days served. Utah's indeterminate system leaves the final duration to the parole board. The decision reflects her cooperation, but underscores the lasting harm to Matthew's family. American Fork heals slowly. The Restelli family's pain endures, but justice carves a path forward. Kathryn Restelli's sentence, with its indefinite horizon and child protection, highlights the devastation of deception and the law's demand for accountability. For viewers, it's a stark reminder: trust shattered can lead to irreversible consequences. If this courtroom reckoning held you, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories of justice unveiled. Explore our playlist for additional true crime insights. Stay vigilant, stay safe.